As the 2024 U.S. presidential election approaches, two key figures, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, are dominating headlines. In this video, we'll take a close look at their political histories, current priorities, and the public's perception of them. Whether you're a Trump supporter, a Harris fan, or undecided, this breakdown will help you understand what these leaders stand for. Donald Trump's political history and ideologies. Donald Trump, a businessman with no prior political experience, entered politics in 2015 and won the 2016 election, becoming the 45th U.S. president. His presidency focused on economic nationalism, strict immigration policies, and an America First foreign policy. Domestically, Trump passed a major tax cut in 2017, aiming to boost economic growth by cutting corporate taxes. He also prioritized deregulation, especially in energy, to promote fossil fuel production. On the world stage, Trump withdrew the U.S. from international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal, arguing these hurt American interests. His renegotiation of NAFTA, resulting in the USMCA, was another key accomplishment. Trump's immigration policies, such as the travel ban and efforts to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall, were central to his national security agenda, but were controversial. Trump's presidency ended after the 2020 election, which he lost to Joe Biden. Refusing to concede, Trump falsely claimed election fraud, leading to the January 6th Capitol riot. His second impeachment, this time for incitement of insurrection, followed, though he was acquitted. Trump's current ideologies. Running again in 2024, Trump continues to push his America First platform. Economic nationalism. Advocates tariffs to protect American jobs, especially against China. Immigration. Pledges to finish the border wall and maintain tough immigration restrictions. Law and order. Emphasizes stricter law enforcement and supports tough policing policies. Foreign policy. Remains skeptical of U.S. involvement in international alliances like NATO. Public perception of Trump. Trump remains a divisive figure. His supporters view him as a champion for the common American, standing up to the political elite. His detractors, however, see him as a threat to democracy, particularly after the events of January 6th and his refusal to concede the 2020 election. His handling of the COVID-19 pandemic also drew widespread criticism. Despite ongoing legal battles, Trump's loyal base remains strong, though questions about his electability among moderates and independents linger. Kamala Harris's political history and ideologies. Kamala Harris's career began in law enforcement as District Attorney of San Francisco and later as California's Attorney General, where she focused on criminal justice reform, though her record has been criticized. She gained national prominence after being elected to the U.S. Senate in 2016, where she advocated for healthcare reform, civil rights, and environmental protection. Harris ran for president in 2020 but dropped out before the primaries. Joe Biden chose her as his running mate, and in 2020, she became the first female, Black, and South Asian vice president of the U.S. Her role in the administration has included tackling immigration, voting rights, and the COVID-19 response. Harris's current ideologies. Healthcare. Advocates expanding healthcare access through a public option. Climate change. Supports aggressive climate action, including the Green New Deal. Criminal justice reform. Calls for ending private prisons, legalizing marijuana, and addressing systemic racism in law enforcement. Voting rights. Focuses on protecting and expanding voting access. Social justice. Strong advocate for women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and racial equity. Public perception of Harris. Harris is a historic figure, admired for breaking barriers as vice president. However, she faces criticism from both progressives and conservatives. Some on the left feel she hasn't pushed hard enough for progressive policies, while conservatives argue she's too liberal on issues like immigration and voting rights. Her role as vice president has been challenging, with mixed reviews on her visibility and effectiveness in tackling difficult issues like immigration. Conclusion. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are pivotal figures in the 2024 election, representing two vastly different visions for America's future. Trump's focus on nationalism and law enforcement contrasts with Harris's emphasis on social justice and equity. As voters weigh their choices, these leaders will continue to shape the political debate in significant ways.